Bitcoin this week broke below critical support at $92,000. Right now, the time of recording this video, we've broken under $80,000. So now is an ideal to take the hopium glasses off and really try to assess the most realistic Bitcoin bull market and Bitcoin bear market scenarios for 2025. So in today's video, let's steel man the most realistic bull case for Bitcoin's price this year, as well as the most realistic bear case for this year. Then we'll compare the two side by side and kind of see what kind of conclusions we can pull out of that. So starting first, the bears, nasty, dirty creatures, bears. So to even be a bear, you'd probably believe that $109,000 was the top of our current market cycle. We're not going to go higher than that for the next 4 years. That was last week's price descent. That started the beginning of another multi-year bear market where everything's just going to go to shit. Grim. But what would be a realistic price bottom for 2025 if that's the case? We usually reach market bottoms within a year or so. Well, let's use the traditional 4-year cycle theory to try to help us out here. Here's Bitcoin on the weekly. The 3 white vertical lines are the 2016, 2020, and 2024 halving dates. The measurements in red are how long it took the prices to bottom out after each peak. So you notice how long it took Bitcoin to find the cycle bottom after both the 2017 and 2021 peaks. Basically a year each time. So if history rhymes, that would mean we should find the bottom probably around January 2026 or like December 2025. It's going to be down only for the next year. It'll be brutal. So it's not outlandish for the more aggressive bears to think that we could get very close to the cycle bottom by the end of the year. And at what price would that be? Well, remember, Bitcoin has historically respected the previous cycle's price tops as the next cycle's price bottom, or close enough. In 2022, we did get down to about $15,000, which is a little bit lower than the 2017 peak. But the $3,000 bottom in 2018 was above the prior cycle top. The 2022 bottom was just a little below, and the 2017 top for just a very brief period of time. So there's a lot of assumptions built in here. Nobody really knows how low it will go, right? But if our current cycle top is already in, and it takes Bitcoin about 1 year to find the bottom, and we rhyme with previous cycle bottom patterns, then the bears can realistically argue that price would hit then somewhere close to $69,000, which isn't that far away or crazy considering where we are right now. More likely somewhere like $50,000 by the end of 2025. Now the $50,000 mark is only 25% below last cycle's $69,000 high. Or all this stuff's broken and we're going to absolute goblin town. It goes back to 3K. Probably not. So we're drawing lines here since that's happened last cycle. So look, that's it, folks. $69,000 to $50,000 for the bears in 2025, unless, of course, you assume that it's going to be your sort of standard 70% drawdown. Now, maybe you're going to say anything below 50K is a fantasy, but if we have our sort of usual 70% drawdown, that might bring us to closer to like 40K, for example, which is a very important area for Bitcoin. And of course, if this ends up playing out, then price action is basically a slow, cool grind, lower highs, lower lows from now until the end of the year. Oh, there'll be opportunities, there'll be things to trade, but basically down only for a year straight. Fun times. So what we need to actually see the bear case playing out. Well, before we get into that, a real quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is I Trust Capital. Look, markets suck, but you know what sucks more? Paying gargantuan sums of taxes on whatever gains you did get out of this market cycle. The guys at I Trust can help you reduce your tax burden by wrapping your cryptocurrency trading in a retirement account, 401k, IRA, whatever you're doing. They can help you start a new one, or you can bring over your existing one, trade all the crypto that you want, okay? They got a lot of the big coins, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, stuff like that. You can do as many trades as you want. You're never gonna hit a taxable event, which is pretty damn cool. 365, 24/7, unlike Bitcoin ETF products, of course, and they do let you own those real coins in the future via their in-kind withdrawals program. You can even diversify out into physical gold and silver via their partnership with Kitco. So if you want to learn more about how I Trust can help you save on taxes, link down below, and you even got a $100 sign-up bonus, so go check it out. Okay, now let me tell you what we can't see. You see, Trump can't transfer the 200,000 Bitcoin from the Department of Justice to the Treasury, and Loomis's Bitcoin bill probably going to fail. If either of these things happen, then the bear market case scenario, pretty gosh darn cooked. Or tariffs aren't that bad, the economy blasts higher, all that stuff. Look, the bears are probably gonna need some kind of really negative economic event to hit which could happen. The most likely would be something connected to the Trump tariffs. It's going to raise inflation. The Fed has to raise rates. Oh, if the Fed raises rates, holy shit. Or maybe the tariffs in general just slow down U.S. economic growth. A recession comes. Another scenario, of course, is a much larger stock market pullback. Currently, the S&P 500 is down just like 5 or 6% from the recent all-time highs, maybe a little bit lower by the time you watch this video, but a larger pullback, actually bear market territory, say 20 or 25%, could drag Bitcoin down to that lower region of maybe 50K or even slightly lower, given that Bitcoin is traded as a risk asset. So maybe that's it, guys. The bears can realistically aim for the price level mentioned here, which would be about a 60% drawdown from the previous all-time high. But they need some negative economic weather to do that. No strategic Bitcoin reserve, all that kind of stuff. Now let's turn to the bull case. So at the time of this recording, Bitcoin just under $80,000, and there's a lot of technical analysis to support the idea that the bulls will find some kind of bottom either between $73,000 and $78,000, or that it's approximately already come in around the current price action. A realistic bull scenario of 2025 will be a bounce in this region, with Bitcoin making a new all-time high sometime later this year. But at what price? Well, again, if we go back to the 4-year cycle theory, we find a pattern of diminishing returns between each of the cycles. So in 2012, Bitcoin pumped 9,000% from having to peak. In 2016, it was 3,000% from having to peak. And in 2020, it was 700% from having to peak. So if this process continues, with diminishing math continuing to move forward, then Bitcoin should pump about 190% or so, starting from the price of the 2024 Bitcoin halving. If we do that projection, we land at $180,000. Now we can look at some other charts that support this price target. There's quite a few of them, but let's instead refer it to the brain trust. So I went to X's Grok 3 and I asked for every Bitcoin 2025 price prediction from the professionals, but to exclude any prediction over $250,000. We're keeping it real here, guys. And here's what we got. The lowest is $115,000 from CoinShares and Changely, which kind of is where we already got to, close enough anyway. The highest is $250,000 from Bitwise and Tom Lee. But you might also notice that VanEx's Matthew Seigel and Galaxy Digital's Alex Thorne are predicting $180,000 Bitcoin, which aligns with our diminishing cycle math. These guys aren't moon boys, right? They're nerdy analyst guys with probably really, really big glasses. Anyways, I asked Grok to give me the average and medium numbers from this list, and here it is. So look, between the 4-year cycle math and the brain trust, I think it's fair to say that a realistic bull market target for 2025 is $180,000. Now I realize that feels crazy where we are right now. The current dump, the current sentiment. Lark, shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? $180,000 Bitcoin. Smack yourself, boy. Look, this is what the math and the experts are saying, okay? Now, what do the bulls need in order for this price target to be hit? Well, they're for sure going to need the economy to hold together. If the economy goes to absolute shit, bears win. And for general economic expectations to play out to the upside, with no big surprises to the downside. That means no big stock market crash, as we get at least 1 Fed rate cut in 2025, maybe 2. Maybe if the economy gets just a little bit worse, we get 3. Be great. The global M2 keeps heading north, which is largely predicted to do. I think this is necessary for $180,000 Bitcoin. But what about this Trump strategic Bitcoin reserve move? It honestly feels like the bull market, the bulls, white swan event, meaning Bitcoin might be able to hit $180,000 without a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But if Trump does move over the Bitcoin, then I think prices are going to potentially blow past $200,000. And if the Cynthia Lummis bill goes through, where she wants to buy Bitcoin, then we're talking about $250,000 Bitcoin peak prices. So this entire SBR thing is one of those bullish dynamic unknowns that we have to keep in mind. All right, so putting this all together, if the $50,000 is sort of the more base realistic scenario for the bears, maybe you get a little bit lower, I guess maybe 40K or something like that. 180K is the best realistic scenario for the bulls, and prices are, let's say, around $80,000 right now, then the risk reward for those willing to buy right now is about 3-to-1, which is pretty damn good. But then again, you've got to be capable of buying when there's a lot of fear in the market. You have to be ready to hold for a potential downside. Thanks for watching.